Equestrian the Game from Cavalry Games is a horse mobile game that, quote, most realistic horse riding in a game ever. During its early official launch, it took some heat for poor management of its Discord server, and overall has not seen the best track record due to recycled events and poor updates, and they have now landed in serious hot water after their latest update, in which they have applied aggressive monetization to their game. They're certainly living up to this thumbnail. All of this started on the 29th of February and has now come to a head on the 21st of March when they decided to not only raise prices in-game, but make certain horse breeds and buildings only available through premium currency, aka real money. It's been a rough ride for the developers, but they did try and explain why they have made these decisions regarding their game. Basically, the economy in the gaming world is bad, and they need money. There is some truth to this, but there are a few caveats and issues about this statement as well, which I will cover in this video. But before we get into all of that, I'd like to thank the ETG community for helping me with some questions, and specifically Koi's Roy, who was good enough to help me with this video. And of course my Ko-Fi supporters for being more awesome than meeting a luck dragon in the wild. Let's get into it. Now, to start off, we're going to first take a look at the updates themselves. On the 29th of February, Equestrian the Game, or ETG, made the following changes to their game. A carrot would now only regenerate a horse for one competition. Carrots regenerate your horse's energy, and where before you could take part in 3 competitions before needing to spend a carrot, you now had to spend 1 carrot per competition. This was bad enough, but they also placed a hefty limit on the amount of carrots you could keep. Where before it was technically limitless, you now could only hold 170 carrots in your inventory. Your silo would stop producing carrots once you've hit that threshold. The only way to get carrots above that threshold would be to, of course, purchase them. They essentially devalued carrots and then made it a lot harder to accumulate them. Other updates include the stable, riding hall, and silo will cost less in-game dollars to update. The office, breeding stable, and trailer or horse market will cost more to update. The office now generated a bit more in-game dollars, the highest total being 5,700. Investigating horses in the horse market or trailer was pushed up from $50 to $1,420. Buying a horse would cost more in the market, going from $3,000 to $9,000, meaning I would have to save up 2 days before I could buy a horse. And refreshing the horse market to see new horses went from $300 to $7,100. What the hell, ETG? These changes, as you can see, are significant and would change the game in a lot of ways, although certain paywalls could still thankfully be circumvented by watching an ad. Examining horses, refreshing the horse market, and certain timers in the game could be skipped like this. But these updates certainly made the community angry and changed the game in a lot of ways, feeling that ETG was really pushing the greed, forcing players to spend more and more and thus grind a lot more. But new updates were also on the way, and they would basically be a punch to the face. On the 18th of March 2024, Equestrian the Game made a video entitled ETG, an important message. In the video, the community manager explained that due to the current economic dip for the gaming world, they would be changing their in-game purchases to try and make more money to keep the game afloat. For too long, the community manager says, they've been giving the game out for free. Yeah, okay, we're just gonna ignore the prices. But she also did make it clear these were still testing phases and some changes might need to be rolled back. And so their first update rolled around on the 21st of March, and this would include making buildings and certain horses cost real money or gold coins. Before this point, all horses and building upgrades could be bought with in-game dollars. Gold coins or premium currency was exclusively used to speed up times, purchase overly expensive cosmetics, and buy season passes. As a result, the game did at least give you the freedom to play to an extent, with ads also being used to skip wait times. Some horses now cost anything from 25 to 55 gold coins, and certain buildings will cost you 7 coins or up to 19 coins. I can't be sure exactly how much, as I really don't want to regrind all of this, but as you can see, a different level will mean a higher coin cost. It's not extreme, but you can't get coins in the game easily. You can only get it through daily rewards. Another point to mention, according to the comments, the offers can only be upgraded once before you have to pay gold coins, which deliberately hobbles new players, because the higher the level of your offers, the more money you generate, and with everything being so extremely expensive, you're in a bit of trouble if you're a new player. New players will have to use all of their weekly gold coins to upgrade their buildings, and they only get a couple of coins a week. The reason why they made the buildings so expensive and specifically gold coin priced is to ensure that new people will purchase gold coins, because they know that new players are not going to be able to hoard money to buy new horses, so some of them might buckle and purchase gold coins solely for the horses now available in the shop for gold coins, and so they will save dollars for refreshing or investigations. This is also the reason that horses which cost gold coins are not always better and do not have any sort of real benefit. It's just specific breeds that seem to cost gold coins. It's very strategic and done specifically to place pressure on new players to get them to buy. Oh, this game. They did at the very least give the players more money for competitions, which did alleviate the grind by a lot. But all of these premium currency updates would cause another uproar, with players claiming that the developers were ruining the game and slowly killing it. But fear not, players, for the developers had a marvelous plan to aid their disgruntled customers. They would make the prices for gold coins cheaper, so that their good players could go forth and purchase coins for their game and have a merry old time. For $133.99, you shall receive an extra 134 coins. Sorry, this is amazing. Oh, I love this game so much. As an added bonus, according to a few comments and the ETG community, the pricing is different on the website and the mobile. Meaning, even with the little bonus you get of 10% on the website, you are still paying more per coin on the website than the mobile. Look at these prices! Just look at these prices! So guys, buy from the mobile, it's actually a lot cheaper. Woo! They announced this special in a completely separate video, clearly very happy with themselves at being so generous. The kicker was you had to go onto their website to make these purchases, completely leaving the game. Probably because Google Apps takes 30% of your revenue, so they just wanted to make even more money. Just glorious. Now that's essentially everything that has been updated. I'm putting this comment here because this person really did sum it up very well, but it's a mess to be sure, and people are pretty upset. The entire game has essentially been changed from the ground up, and it's really forcing you now to purchase premium currency, which is very frustrating for players, as you can imagine. But let's dive a little into the reasoning behind all of this. All of these changes were made, as ETG said, because they felt they weren't making enough within the current climate of the gaming sphere. Now, the gaming world has seen a huge knock in the last couple of years, with thousands of people being laid off. It is absolutely no wonder that game companies are struggling underneath the sudden dip in revenue. The core of this circles back to 2021 and 2022, when companies overspent their budget during lockdown and are now paying the price. In March of 2023, it was reported by GameX Labs that a lot of mobile games on the Apple Store were increasing their prices, some by over 30%, a direct result of consumer behavior change in spending after lockdown. Responses to this problem included external websites to boycott the 30% revenue both Apple and Google App Stores take from games on their platforms, and then premium currencies and packages raising in prices. However, some games responded differently to the problem, with games like Mario Kart giving more bang for your buck and League of Legends giving double currency in a short time frame before the price increase. Both of these games showed an excellent spike in revenue, proving that going for the most greedy option is not always the best one. But all of these examples only show that there is a big shift in the market, and companies have been responding to this issue since early 2023. So yes, there is a very big possibility that ETG is feeling a serious pinch. All of this I do understand, but I don't think they went about this the right way. These things should have been sorted during soft launch and beta. I understand the climate has changed, but these drastic changes could possibly only serve to alienate loyal players. Players have become accustomed to the status quo, or the way things have always been. And by meddling with that, they've caused a lot of frustration, in part due to the fact that they're not really updating the game. Since their full launch in 2022, they have added breeding, one new horse breed, the quarter horse, new coat and tails, new cosmetics, a lot of which were just recolors or reskins of old gear, and some Western props and tack. They also added a bunch of seasons, but these have been recycled consistently. Things that people have been waiting for years include foals, dressage, and grooming or interacting with your horse. Foals have been promised all the way back in 2022. And once again, according to comments, there seems to be a problem with cheaters or possibly bug exploitation on the leaderboard, and ETG has not really been prioritizing this. Another problem crops up in the form of the mane and tail update, which was added to the game on the 29th of February. A lot of people weren't too happy with the way they looked. They look like Barbie horses. But this is only part of the issue. Players have been asking for a long time for customization of mane and tail styles. Just to give you an idea of how frustrating this was, at one point horses were born with braided manes and tails, and this took them over a year to fix. They're very slow to do basic fixes for this game. But don't worry, if there is a payment problem on the iOS, they will sort that shit out in 2 days flat. God forbid they can't get more money out of you. So now the problem comes down to it's not really whether they are having any financial difficulties, which is probably true, but rather, does the game deserve the price increase? And I honestly just don't think so. With the game's gameplay and features barely changing since its launch, it's really not worth it to invest. I played this game back in 2022, and the most that has changed physically are the mane and tails and the meadow, and that's insane for a technically live service game. The competitions play exactly the same, the training is exactly the same, and despite having dressage as an option to train, it's still 2 years down the line, not part of the game. Technically longer, because the game was in soft launch for a long time, I think about a year. So even if they really were in trouble, the game simply doesn't warrant this price increase. I would say add a sort of VIP, but the most you could do with that is make the timers less for players who have VIP, and that could be construed as a pay to win. But the game is technically already pay to win, because if you buy gold coins, you can skip those wait periods and train your horse faster. What a well-designed game! So for me, personally, all of these financial issues could have been avoided if they have taken the time to make a good game instead of focusing on how to make more money. Good products will usually bring in money, and your marketing was good enough to get enough eyes on you to push the game into a popular sphere. But because you didn't update your game in proper ways, adding dressage and foals to name a few, your game dropped in revenue because people lost interest. I do have sympathy, I really do. The gaming industry is taking a hard knock right now, and everyone is trying to survive. But one way to do that is to make a game people want to play. It's not our fault that you didn't work on the game properly in the last few years, but we still have to suffer for it.